Yo, what's up YouTube? This is your girl Michelle. As you can tell from my last video, some of you actually stood by, um, who had seen my video, about Anthem and, had a bit of a trigger moment there. The questions I had for myself, and the more I was thinking about this, now the question is, am I done with Anthem? As far as the game goes, sad but true. I don't see any potential future to keep going with Anthem. Having the game given to me as a birthday gift, how do I put this? At first, like, the hype was all real. I know there's gonna be some hardcore fanboys who are gonna probably deny everything that's gonna be said in this video, and unfortunately, this is the truth. There's really no story mode to it. The end game has dragged out too long. I saw a couple of videos today, before making this video, and the actual retail sale of the game now, it was $60. It's dropped down now to $49. $50 game, and it's going to keep dropping. Over out in Europe, Germany, and a few other countries have had now put the Anthem games inside the bargain bins. It's not because it was too much overstock they had. It was because of the fact that the sales weren't generating out in Europe for the PS4, and be expected soon that Anthem could be free to play at some point. I think it's more likely going to head there. And it's like I said, I'm sorry, that Anthem has taken its toll. The honeymoon phase is over. And after playing about 10 hours of the game and getting frustrated, along the way, I found that, even like last night, before I went to bed, I was, even earlier today, had the same feeling of sitting on the fence, about whether if I should continue playing or not. So anyways, my whole, no offense to some who still are defending Anthem, which are the fanboys. But the thing is, Anthem, supposedly they did an update on Anthem last night. It could have been a Mickey Mouse update. But it doesn't change the fact of how I really feel. I feel that it was a huge letdown, a huge disappointment. The lackluster game quality. If you ask me, and it goes back to what I said last night, after the fact that, I got ponged off from the server, seeing all these potential flaws, seeing everything that is completely wrong about it. And the truth of the matter is, I don't normally take, I see the way how these games are being made. If you want my honest opinion, I think, and it goes without saying, I'm going to give a shout here to Young Yeah, who also said the same thing. It's atrocious to see Anthem head to this direction of just becoming another bad video game alongside with Fallout 76. I think what's going to end up happening here, with, Anthem being out in the bargain bins in some stores, or the price has been dropped down to about $50. It's going to show that eventually Anthem's going to become free to play. I believe that, I think in the near future, I think Anthem's going to become more free to play. I don't see it, for me, in my perspective, I don't see it as a means of Anthem progressing anywhere in the near future. You know, of course, EA had fired one of their writers, or, you know, one of the reporters for, you know, from one of their own, and they fired him, you know, and he gave his input about how he felt, how the game was, and how bad the game turned out. And it's getting worse. Everybody knows that EA's PR at the moment is not getting any better. And with the debacle between Battlefield and Star Wars Battlefront 2, that goes right there. The thing I have to be perfectly honest about, here's the thing, okay? It took 6 years to make Anthem. 6 whole years. But here's the issue that Anthem made, or here's the biggest mistake Anthem had made. In my personal opinion is, when when BioWare made Anthem, they ran it on a Frost server. Now, in truth of the matter is, when you run it onto a Frost server, now the Frost servers are only good on certain first-person shooter, you know, like on a first-person shooter games. It's not good for third-person side-scrolling or whatever the case may be. And I think that's the biggest downfall there. My also personal aspect of where things have been, as far as like where I've seen where things are gonna go for BioWare. I mean, be perfectly honest with you, and I really don't like speaking the truth about some stuff, and I know some of my friends would say the same thing, that, you know, they'd be like, oh, well, Michelle, you're being too harsh on, you know, on speaking the truth. But the truth of the matter is, a game developer, publisher, whatever the case may be, you shouldn't have to make a game. I mean, if it took you 6 years to make a video game, it took you 6 years to come up with a game, but when you don't make the story mode, or if you make the story mode but it doesn't make any sense to it, it becomes a problem. The side quests, I'll be perfectly honest, I've done a majority of the bounties on Anthem. I think the Trials with the Tombs is a big mistake. I think you prolong the game by putting the trials in there. I also think that, you know, don't get me wrong, I mean, the world events are kind of okay. But if the game was to be saved, I think in personal opinion, they need to revamp it, do a complete overhaul, properly work the servers out, probably change what I think they should have done, rather than having it as a third person. I think they could have done it better as a first person, rather than being a third person and having to hit. And as you could tell, I was struggling with it too. Being in a third person and using the boosters, you know, trying to fly around with those rocks and shit. You know, you kind of take away that, and then when you're trying to fly around, you get into these location or markers or caves, whatever, it doesn't help the mechanics of the flight with the jetpacks any better. I think it could have been more of a first-person shooter. I could see like an RPG first-person shooter, but having it as a third person, running it on a Frost systems, does not really help it any. That's kind of like the debacle that happened when EA Activision, or not, I think it was like, Activision and, oh, I can't remember the name of the company, but when they made Call of Duty World War II, I believe that there could have been some stuff here that could have been avoided. And you're going to start seeing less people play Anthem. They're going to, after like the first 10 hours, you're going to get into it. You're going to be, okay, yeah, this is cool. The story, like for me, I was hyped up. The opening part was cool, which I showed you on the midnight release. So I was playing the midnight, when I had the midnight release and I was playing it, I was like, okay, I can get really good in it. At first, like, my mind was blown away. I was like, okay, this I can get into. Okay, well, it's all fine and good. But as I kept playing, it got to the point that I lost interest, because now you have things that didn't make any sense. You have missions, and then those missions never really tie in too much with the story. And then you have the trials, which to me, I think they could have left out. Case in point, like last night during an overview last night, before I had an issue with the servers crashing, and even today I did an airtime earlier. And it was frustrating. It was really frustrating to know that BioWare has totally destroyed whatever reputation they had. Like I remember when Dragon Age, you had Mass Effect, you had the good games back then when this sort of thing happened. And I feel bad for BioWare doing something this bad, and for the fact that I'm not going to blame everything here on BioWare, but I also see a thing here where EA, who has a history of making these major companies do stuff for them, and then when they do, they set them up for failure. So on both ends, both EA and BioWare are both held accountable for the whole mess of what they did for Anthem. And I'm not going to say that either one's in the wrong or the right. I also think that, some of these fanboys are probably going to deny it. They're probably going to be like, well, maybe the game is cool, but maybe you're just making it up. Well, no, it's the truth. I mean, unless if you want to do repetitive gameplay. Like, at first I was like, okay, this is all fine and good, but it's another loot and shooter. I mean, it's, like for me, I'm not going to bitch about Warframe, because Warframe, it's a loot and shooter. The difference between Warframe and Anthem is, with Warframe, you have things you can do. You can level up. You got mastery rank challenges. I mean, granted, some of the missions are kind of boring, but at the same time, you have a better sense of feel of what you're doing in those missions. Warframe gives you a sense of accomplishment, where Anthem kind of doesn't. I mean, it's kind of like, if you remember playing Mortal Kombat Armageddon on your PS2 and you played online, and you had some person who used a Game Shark code, and and does a one shot and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. This is kind of like where Anthem has gone. I mean, to most gamers, some of us who sit on the fence about Anthem, some of us who sit on the fence about games that come out, from publishers and stuff like that. And I think my personal and honest opinion, and as far as like the truth goes, I don't want to say it, but the truth of the matter is, when you get to the honest opinion of things, I really think that EA and BioWare should just hang it up. I mean, EA's already got some bad PR as is, but I think for what BioWare did too, I think BioWare's pretty much done. To some of us who have played Anthem, to some of us who actually had, who had, who had played various games, other games, it's gotten to the point, you know. I think EA and Anthem, I think EA and BioWare should actually hang it up. I think if EA wants to do something right, if they want to get the PR back, they have to think and they have to listen to what the gaming community wants or what the gaming community suggests, and not to push away the gaming community because they want to do it on their own and they want to see it where they want to see it, but not to the feelings of the gamers. And that goes without saying about BioWare. If BioWare does something better for Anthem, like if they can somehow bring some miracle to resuscitate some areas of the game, then I can see it more happening where, okay, then at least BioWare can maybe salvage their reputation. EA's got a long way to salvage their reputation because of their debacle over the course of time back in 2018, and I believe 2017 is where they went also downward. And it contradicts me, going back now to what I'm about to say, it contradicts me here. It saddens me. I mean, here I am, somebody who's played Warframe for over 5 months and actually happened to enjoy it. I mean, granted, the tutorials, in Warframe were not very good, but at least, you had people that cared and helped you and told you exactly what you had to do. Okay, yeah, Warframe didn't have very much of a story mode. That's all fine and good. I'm okay with I'm okay with Warframe, but with Anthem, I don't really, how do I put this? I don't really see any improvement with Anthem. I think what's going to end up happening, and on a side note, it's like I said, Anthem and Warframe are too different, but Anthem pretty much bit off from Destiny and also bit off from Warframe. And I think what happened here is when you mix games or you try to bite the concept of the games from that point of view or perspective, you kind of, I don't know how to put it, but you made a mess. I mean, I shouldn't say kind of made a mess, but you pretty much made a mess. And my truth of the matter is here, for me, I'm not really going to be airing very much anymore of Anthem. I vowed that even if I managed to like still play Anthem, but I don't think it's gonna happen. If I manage to do that, I just hit level 30 and just call it good. I think there's no interest in it for me anymore, and I'm sure there's some people out there who would agree with me on that, and then of course there's some that may not agree with me, but you know what, it's the writing's on the wall. It's gonna be right there, and I'm at that point now where that some games need to be, what I'm trying to say is, like, certain developers like EA and BioWare, look, it took you 6 years, but you took that 6 years, you ruined it. I mean, I've never had such a bad taste in my mouth like this before. I shouldn't say before, but, back during PS2 and you play Mortal Kombat Armageddon, you get that bad taste when people cheat on there, but you also get a even worse taste when you play Anthem, because it's not because people are cheating or anything like that. Nobody's cheating on Anthem. What I'm saying is, Anthem's honeymoon phase is over. You know, it only came out the 22nd of February, and already it's been looking very grim. So, anyways, that's pretty much it on my thoughts. But like I said, if I play Anthem, I'm just gonna level up to. If I even remotely decide to play Anthem, to be truthful, it's something that I never really like to voice my opinion on. And like I said, if I decide to pick up and play Anthem again, I'll just get to level 30 and done deal it. I never played a game that was complete utter trash. I mean, not like this. I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, I thought, like, Dead Rising for the Xbox 360 was awful, but this just takes the cake. So, I'm gonna, like, leave this on a short note here. And I'm gonna say that, I'm pretty much done. I'm pretty much done with Anthem. So anyways, so check me out more in the Warframe videos. So other than that, this is your girl Michelle saying peace, love, and happiness. And if any of you have any comments below or have anything to say, you leave a comment below. Whether if you've been having your bad experiences with Anthem or you haven't had any bad experiences with Anthem. But other than that, I can't think of anything else, and I'm gonna call it good. So anyways, peace, love, and happiness. Spring's coming around the corner, and so is Easter. Anyways, this is Michelle saying bye for now, and stay tuned for other videos.